When it comes to re-engaging with sex, what are our encouragements? Like, what are things that we encourage couples to do, things to be aware of? Because you don't want to, it's almost one of those things that as you re-engage, you don't want to do it in a wrong way, maybe like too soon, or I don't want to answer the question before we even get to it, but just how do we encourage couples when it comes to re-engaging sexually?
I think sometimes having an outside voice is helpful, even depending on what has happened in the relationship and what they've gone through as a couple. Having a counselor who can help with that can be a really helpful piece of the process. I know that sometimes when people have maybe not even had very satisfying sex and then something happens to fracture the relationship, and when it comes time to re-engage in sex, they want to do it well. I know that they have gone to like even a sex therapist, which can be really helpful because that's somebody who basically specializes in the act of sex that could help couples in a way that maybe they're not going to get from another, like a CSAT or a PSAP or the, pastor, counselor person. So I just think that there are other resources out there that can be really helpful. And I also know that we've talked about other things, like if you're doing this as a couple that you want to re-engage in sex, it's okay to like have sex with the lights on and don't have an expectation that this is going to be the best sex I've ever had because I've gone without for so long, because it's probably not going to be. But it really is more about meeting the other person's need, being there, being present in the situation, all of those different things. And even if you get to a point where it's like, okay, I don't feel safe right now, it's okay for you to say that out loud and stop the process. And I think that we find that sometimes, especially with partners, where it's like the idea of it is fine, but then they get into the situation and it's triggering again, and they have to give themselves permission to just say, it's okay if I stop this and it's not the end of the world. And, it's just part of the process.
Well, and in some ways, it's like we need to go back and maybe relearn principles that if we did pre-marriage counseling, we might have gotten some coaching in how to have healthy sexual connection. I think of it like a good crime scene. They're always looking for the person who has motive, means, and opportunity, right? That's Heather likes this because she's into all her crime shows.
She freaking loves it.
That you want to find that person, and all three have to be true. And in a positive sense, for good sexual connection, there needs to be motive, desire, feelings from the spouse for it, a motive. There need to be means. Is there energy? Are the physical preparation, having time to take a shower or put on clean clothes? I mean, the reality is some guys work really hard, sweaty jobs. And if they come home thinking my wife's just totally going to be in the mood when there's not means for it, it's like,
come on, bro.
Address those things. But, in reality, when we've been married a few years or 10 years or 20 years, we may be so into our routines that we just assume, well, that's my wife, we have sex, and we've forgotten to pay attention to some of those things. And then opportunity, is there time? Is there a locked door? Are the mental doors in someone's brain about where are the kids? What are they doing? Are those doors shut? So that there is an opportunity to just focus on the two of us. And if you're not, like if I were to ask someone listening, well, what puts your wife or your husband, what makes them feel like having sex? And if your answer is, well, I don't really know, well, you've got some homework to do, because you've just gotten into a mode of, well, we're married, so we should have sex. And if it's not happening, maybe it's because you're stuck in that mode. And you need to go backwards in time and relearn, like, what creates the right mood for us? What creates the right environment and opportunity? What gives us the right time? What does my wife want me to look or smell or feel like? I can say for us, if I haven't shaved in a couple of days, the likelihood of physical connection is just not there.
Which is just a shame, because I think you look good with a beard, Nick. I've said that many times.
It's just a reality, but it's a truth of our marriage and our connection. Like, I know that's important. And so if I come in, at the end of a long day and I've got a couple days beard going, and I just expect my wife's going to be okay with that, then I'm not really paying attention to what she has communicated she likes, because she's gonna be like, don't kiss me. Like, what? I don't like that. And and for her, it's like, and that.
Yeah.
So why don't you do the things that
right.
I like? I mean, I think we've got to pay attention to that too.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is shower and shave.
Sometimes it is the simple things, Trevor. It is.
That is. I think communication, back to that again. And I think in that too, the thought of embrace the awkwardness. Like if you haven't had sex in a while, it is going to be awkward. And even the communication about it will feel awkward. And that's okay. Like, because again, this is a relationship that should be the safest one in the world. And so you should be able to like laugh about things and feel awkward and weird, but know that I'm with someone that's okay to be that way with. And I think that those are two important things other than the shower and the shave part. So those are important too.